Going into the making of this year's lip dub, we knew that we had to create something bigger and better than the year before. Me personally, I knew I wanted to do something that was more cinematic, that had a little bit more of a theme to it, a little bit more of a story to it, and kind of did some things that nobody's really done before. The original concept for the 80s theme lip dub came from Noah Osborne and some of the students that are involved in both leadership and video production. And really from there, the ball just got rolling.
So this past fall at the Boot Scoot dance, I was standing there and I saw everyone dancing and the song Footloose came on. And a lot of the leadership kids knew what the dance was, and so we started teaching other people and everyone just started doing the dance, and I just looked around and I was like, this would be really cool if this was our final scene for the lip dub. And so I texted Mr. Spencer and talked to him about it, and then we got together, and out of that came the 80s theme.
Obviously, you could do 80s songs, you could do songs from different 80s movies or whatever, but how could we tie that into today but still keep that 80s theme at heart? And obviously, the success of Stranger Things being really probably the #1 TV show of last year, but set in the 80s, a lot of kids like it, adults like it. We really just felt like if we took Should I Stay or Should I Go from that and kind of did that opening scene, that it would be a great, memorable way for people to be introduced into the 2017 lip dub.
Filming the lip dub this year was definitely an experience. It took a lot of work. Mr. Spencer definitely organized everything. I was just there, helping film a lot of things, throwing my ideas here and there.
And each day that we had something to shoot, there were about 5, 6, 7 kids and myself and Mr. Couch that would have to go and shoot these scenes. Jonathan Rico was there, and he always did the behind-the-scenes camera. We had several other kids, Noah Osborne, KYLIE Ray were very involved in some of the different planning stages, as well as helping out with editing. And that's what's neat about this, is that really for about a month, it feels like you're kind of working on a movie.
The experience of lip dub, it was definitely, it was a lot different than anything I've ever done, just because I didn't realize there's so much that went into it until I was actually on the production team and got to be a part of it.
Really the amount of hours put in by the students behind the scenes was phenomenal. Noah SCHATZ was very instrumental.
So me and Mr. Spencer, it was basically me right here and him right here. And I was like, okay, what do you want? And so he would basically tell me, all right, so this is the scene, this is kind of the direction we're going. I just want the chorus, I just want this verse. It really felt like, we were scoring, for a movie, and we used some visual effects and stuff, so it was cool combining the visual effects with the sound that we were making from scratch, and so it was dope.
Really one of the more difficult aspects of this year's project was really just choosing the songs. I think, based on student recommendations, songs that I put myself on a list. At one point I had a list of about 150 different 80s songs that were potentially going to be used in this lip dub.
I think what is really cool is just seeing it the lip dub evolve over the last 3 years, and this year it premiered at Springfest, and I thought that was really cool. It's more like an event almost, so it's really neat just to see that evolution and where we started and where it's at now. And that experience, I think, kind of seeing it on the big screen over at the stadium was very unique. You think how many other schools in the nation are doing something like that? And again, it's about creating stories and memories for our kids, and I definitely think that night did that for our students.
This year we wanted to do some things to make sure that we had an even broader representation of the different parts of Broken Arrow High School. We're always going to look, okay, who did we get involved last year? Who did we not get involved, and how can we get them involved? Things like robotics, the art club, our dance class, we were able to get the Pride involved this year. So as you look at it and you see the different elements of our school, that's really what I'm most proud of.
This year, when they brought it up to us students, I was like, yes, finally. And so when we were in it was great to see all my fellow art students being broadcast and all their lovely artwork.
you know, it's a cool experience being able to, you know, we see all the widespread attention that it's been getting, and it's pretty cool to know that, you know, even if I was in there just for a couple seconds, to say, you know, I was part of this huge project that's getting so much attention.
I enjoyed being a part of the lip dub. It was a lot of fun, kind of working with Couch and Spencer on, you know, the whole idea of Stranger Things, and getting to play the part of Mike was a lot of fun, and I enjoyed it.
Being a part of the lip dub was probably the highlight of my senior year. It was a lot of fun, and you can it was a lot of fun to be able to send the link out to all your friends and family and be like, hey, watch me, I'm in this. So that was cool.
I never thought I was gonna be in the intro. Like when Mr. Spencer and Mr. Couch told me I was gonna be part of the lip dub, I thought I was gonna be towards the middle or the end. But he said I was gonna be the ones that start. That just made my day.
I had reservations in the back of my mind of, all right, Coach Alexander, if you're going to do this, let's go ahead and do it. Let's don't go halfway and look really bad. So I had a great time with it. The football players loved it. You know, all the guys loved seeing Coach Alexander not to be afraid of making a mistake, right? Had to do things 2 or 3 times, and we had a great time with it. It was a good day.
My favorite scene was the last scene, the Footloose scene. You know, we had all those kids show up. The scene itself just looked really cool with the balloons in the background and the glitter, and just everybody there and everybody having a good time and dancing and all that kind of stuff. It was definitely visually my favorite scene, and it was probably my favorite scene to film too, because it was just pretty fun.
I think my favorite scene from the lip dub was the show choir's Don't Stop Me Now by Queen. Caleb Ricketts just kind of knocked it out of the park with his Freddie Mercury impression.
The scene that I enjoy the most, and I'm almost 100% happy with how it came out, would be the show choir scene.
I'm not gonna lie, I'll have to say my favorite scene was definitely the show choir one. I was actually singing while they were recording because I wanted to make sure that you know, it wasn't obvious that I was being dubbed over.
Tonight, I'm gonna have myself a real good time. I feel alive.
So they had all the lights off, and they brought in these lights, and I had a camera this close to my face, and it was a really cool experience.
You know, there were so many great scenes in it, and of course I would love to say that my scene was my favorite, but if I'm being honest, the science teachers and the weird science, that was hands down my favorite part of the lip dub. Just really cool seeing them kind of out of their element.
And action.
From my heart and from my hand, why don't people understand my intention?
It happened very quick. I had no idea what was going on. Actually, I wasn't planning on being in it, but I was walking by the room as they were setting it up, and that was it. It was good to be a part of it. It's nice to be part of something that gets recognized all over the country.
So I was in the athletic scene singing Back in Black, and it was pretty difficult to film the swimming scene because we were in the water, so we had to take it several times, but it was really fun to see the end product because we were able to jump in the water and see the boys team and the girls team.
Well, the T-Prod scene, we did Sweet Dreams, and we started it off in military costumes compared to just 80s clothes because we wanted to show them moving on into the new era. That was kind of our idea, so by the end of the scene, we all ended up in our 80s.
You know, when I watch it the first time, I think, oh man, I like that, right? And then I watched it the next day with my wife, I showed her, my kids, and you watch it and you're like, oh man, I love that. And it was 2 totally different scenes. I really think the cheer scene is cool because Mickey from MTV, that was just a great look in Central Maine and what they did. The Tyget scene cracks me up. I think because I know a lot of them from leadership class, and then the Footloose scene I thought was really cool as well.
All those students and all the production people working toward a common goal, I think that is an amazing feat, putting all those kids together.
I think this is something that's so cool and different, and it's just so awesome to be able to look back on it in the future and say wow, that's my school, and just to be proud of Broken Arrow and everything it's doing. I can't imagine what it's going to be like.
I love it, and I know in 15, 20 years when they've got kids they're gonna look back and say, hey, look what we did at Broken Arrow back in 2017.
It's super cool to be a part of Lib Dub because it's something that in the future I can look back on and be like, yeah, that's my high school kids. Look what I did.
You know, call it a lip dub, call it a music video, call it a movie, whatever you want to call it. You know, we wanted to make something that was big and kind of grand in scale, and I think we achieved that.
1, 2, 3, go!
I just wanted to say that it's guys like you.
Guys like you, Mickey.
Let's do it again. 3, 2, 1, throw!
Somebody want to zip her up?
Sell it! Hey, 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 hey! Give me a little more emotion. Fist pumps and emotion. Really knows the words of this song. I want you guys to come, if you really know the words, come right here.
All right.